Now we're recording?
Yeah.
Well, hello.
Welcome to episode 2 of Frame Buffer.
The
We're
Frame
gonna,
Buffer Podcast.
yes, sir. We're gonna talk about a couple things here today. We're gonna talk about Toys for Bob, wanting to bring back Banjo-Kazooie. We're gonna talk about the PS5 getting price hikes in various countries. We're gonna go over Mario Kart World, the Direct, whatever you want to call it. It's a Direct. That's what you call it. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna do some predictions, I think, or some wants, some hopes. Mainly
And
talk
some
about
dreams.
what they could do to sort of justify the price hike. And then we're gonna round it off with the Xbox showcase announcement and maybe do a couple predictions and speculations there as well. But let's start with the first, which I'm most excited about out of everything here.
We got to start with the hypest news.
That's right.
Well, for people like us anyway that still
Yeah,
care about Banjo
for
Kazooie.
people in their 80s who still care about the bear
Hey,
and bird. So, Toys for Bob had an interview this week where the creative director at the studio said that, or I guess he was asked what kind of like if they could collaborate with a studio, who they'd go for, and his response was, he said that one company that we'd like to work with is one that we're already working with, Team Xbox. They've been a great partner, and they've also had a very interesting roster of characters that Toys for Bob could have a lot of fun with. The Honey Bear is the first one that comes to mind. I think we can all agree that Banjo's been hibernating long enough, right? That was
well,
from
because he's a bear.
because he's a bear, and I agree. This band is I couldn't agree more. So I know Toys for Bob had a brief there was a short time, like a year or two, where they were owned by Microsoft as part of the Activision acquirement, and
Yeah.
I think after, I might be paraphrasing the timeline a little bit here, but after Crash 4, I think Toys for Bob was mostly working on Call of Duty as part of Activision. Like they were just doing support work for Call of Duty after Crash 4. They
Uh,
currently have an unannounced project, which a ton of people speculate is Spyro, another Spyro. But
like a
after
sequel?
that, yeah, like a legit Spyro 4 type thing, similar to what they did with Crash 4 after the
Yeah.
Crash trilogy, which
Because
I'd be
Crash 4 was the
super
original
down.
game.
Yeah, so Crash 4 after the trilogy, just a total original work, which is great. By the way, I don't know if you played it, but it's super quality. It's really nice.
I played a little bit of the Crash game, but I think I'd be way more interested in. I'm not a huge Crash fan, but I respect the crap out of what they did with that game.
Mm.
I really, honestly, what I need to play is the new Spyro game, because that I know it's a remake, it's not like an original game, but like that, I was really impressed with how that looks.
The first, yeah, the Spyro
Yeah, they,
trilogy.
they
I,
built it from the ground up. It looks great.
yeah, did you not go through it, the original or
I, I
the
haven't I haven't played
reignited
the
trilogy?
I haven't played the Reignited
I
trilogy. I
played,
played the original Spyro,
yeah,
but
I played through like two and a half of them. By the time I got to the third one, I had played them in order, like back to back, and so I got kind of burnt out by the time the third one was like halfway done. But I still need to like go back and finish it. And they're super nice. They're really clean. And if they do end up working on a fourth one, I'd be super excited for that as well. But I'd be more excited if Toys for Bob was working on a straight Banjo. I could totally see them doing, one and two rejiggied or something, remastered, whatever they end up calling it. It's like by no means a confirmation that this is something that they're working on,
yeah.
but just the idea alone is makes me like super super hyped. Banjo is one of those things where I put on my clown makeup, my shoes, my wig every time there's an Xbox showcase. This one's no exception. The one coming up, um, and every single time it's just like, well, maybe next year, maybe next year.
I don't know why they're holding the IP and just doing nothing with it. Microsoft, that is.
I I don't
Uh,
know.
but I'm looking at the list of games that Toys for Bob has made, and I didn't. They're the Call of Duty guys, and they're the
Yeah, they
Star
assisted.
Control and Skylanders.
Yep. Before the
Huh.
Crash Insane trilogy got announced, they were working on Skylanders. I think they were owned
Yeah.
by Activision by that point, or they were just collaborating with. I don't know the exact
Yeah.
timeline, but at some point they were acquired by
Well,
Activision. I think maybe after the success of Skylanders.
the last few years has been Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Crash Team Rumble, Call of Duty.
Yep. It's been a little boring in comparison. You got two remastered trilogies of iconic like '90s IP, and then you just get stuck on the Call of Duty,
Well,
train.
but what makes you think that we're gonna get Banjo? I mean, when you look at this resume, it's like you have, no offense, you have a lot of run-of-the-mill titles, and then just like two, you got Crash, Spyro, and then everything else is just like, you know,
Well, I don't think that it's gonna happen. I think it's just it's a nice little what if. At this point,
that's that's
I've
what we call copium, brother.
yeah, no, on God, it's one of those things where it's like a pipe dream type thing. Like if I me personally, if I could choose a studio that I would want to remaster the first two Banjo games, I would have picked Toys for Bob. So it's cool to see like the head of the studio or like the creative director also sort of relay that, hey, yeah, if we're allowed to, we would love to work on this franchise in a
Yeah.
similar fashion that we did with Crash and Spyro. And I don't think like this is oh, I can't wait for it. It's a few years out, but this is absolutely happening sort of thing. It's definitely not that, but it's one of those things that just just the fact that it got mentioned is making headlines, right? In like
Well, that's because they want to do something with it. That
yeah,
doesn't mean Microsoft's gonna, well, I don't know. I mean, Phil Spencer seems to be. I like Phil Spencer, but
yeah,
I mean he's not the entire studio, right? Like
no, like
who knows?
and yeah, it's one of those things, I guess, where maybe they just don't have the manpower to like delegate toward. They know analytics more than anyone outside of their own like studio. So like it might just be a case where they look at the numbers and they go, it's really not worth. We see the traffic coming in and who's playing Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie on Game Pass and on Rare Replay or something. Like they have numbers like that, and they go, is it worth justifying a sequel to be made in house where we have to pull
Yeah.
people from different projects and put it on this game that it just they look at those numbers and it just might not be worth it for them. But theoretically, if another studio were to come in, something like Toys for Bob, and say, "Hey, we'll do that for you, so you don't have to delegate manpower. We'll just do it." It
Well, with that same logic, what if Microsoft was going to delegate something else to them to begin with? I mean, isn't that
it's
re
possible,
re re like they're moving manpower somewhere else?
not
Where
necessarily. Like I mean, Toys for Bob, like I said, at some point was owned by Microsoft, but they're their own independent studio now. So like,
yeah,
it wouldn't necessarily be Microsoft manpower that they're delegating, toward other projects. This would just be essentially a third party commission, like, hey, we'll do this. Just let us use the IP and we'll develop this thing for you. But I think
I
it's
guess it would be really cool. I mean, I either want a new Banjo game or I want to see the first game in Banjo-Tooie remade in the modern day. I want to see that, and then nuts and bolts can just get bent.
we could
Nobody
just
cares
like
about that.
yeah, it's like a bad fever dream almost like a nightmare. You wake up and it's like, oh, good. It's not real.
Don't worry. I'm sure before we see that, don't worry. Nintendo will come along and redo nuts and bolts before anything else because it'll be a Tears of the Kingdom crossover where Link and Banjo are making Lego cars together.
Just scan your Banjo Kazooie amiibo into Tears of the Kingdom, and
Yeah,
they'll
your
come in and
twenty
they'll build a
dollar
car for you.
your $20 amiibo and only certain models. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but like,
Exclusive on the
God,
Switch 2 edition.
God, like, yeah, exclusive on the Switch. 30% of the game is locked behind the $20 amiibo, and then another $20 for DLC, and another $10 if it's on the Switch too. Um,
But yeah,
you
we,
know.
we already talked about pricing and stuff, dude.
Oh.
It is one of those things that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But speaking of pricing, I'm going to get into our next topic, which is the
Yeah.
PS5
Yeah.
getting a price hike in a couple of countries. You know, east of the Atlantic. There's a handful of countries here: Europe, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, getting a bunch of price hikes for the
New
PlayStation
Zealand's
5.
getting
It's rough,
bent
man.
over.
It's rough. I'm looking at these prices. Europe got sort of the best deal here. Not that there was a good one. So the launch for the digital edition PS5 started at €400, which is now going up to 500. This is the digital edition, so that like now the digital edition PS5 costs the same as the standard like disc tray version in Europe. Same thing in the UK, went from £360 up to 430. Australia launched at 600 Australian dollars, now going up to 750. And in New Zealand, going from $650 to $860 for the digital edition.
Yeah, normally when consoles, get old, the price goes down.
Yeah, I just remember it reminds me of a time way back when, in the far, far historic past of 2003, where you would walk into a Walmart and you would see GameCubes, and GameCube wasn't like a successful console by any means, so like they were discounted, right? But
Yeah.
I just remember going to a Walmart and seeing GameCubes on the shelf, the console with like a copy of Smash Melee in the box for like $60. And like that's wild, man. It's important, I
Yeah.
guess, to like disclaimer, like the Australian and New Zealand prices, they're still dollars, like technically, but their currency is a little different. They also call them dollars. So like
Yeah.
for Australia, the physical version of the PS5 is now $830, which equates to about 525 US dollars. So it's like high number still. Like it's not good, but it's not like 830 US dollars, right?
Well, I just see this as I feel like this is going to be a trend all over the place because I mean, we want to talk about something other than price hikes, but that seems to be
That's the trend
what's
right now.
happening
Yeah,
all over the place. I mean, like right here. I mean, Sony's saying, it's the reason for it is a challenging economic environment, including high inflation and fluctuating exchange rates. That's what
they're like
they're blaming it
blaming it
on.
on.
And
Yeah. And this came out of nowhere, dude. They were like, "Hey, effective." The news came out on like the night of April 13th, and on April 14th, this is like effective April 14th. There's like no time to run to the store real quick and buy a PS5 while the getting's good. It was like, hey, in
yeah,
literally in 6 hours, this new like price is in effect, like effective immediately. I guess the silver lining here is that the PS5 Pro hasn't been affected yet. At least there's been no announcement
why would the
made.
original and not the Pro?
I don't know. Like that's yeah, because like you would think the hardware is similar in structure, or they're like
I
manufacturer
think it
wise,
depends
they're
on. I feel like it depends on what's already been shipped out already. I
it
feel
could be.
like, but that would make no sense because wouldn't the standard version have more units? I
I
don't know how that
I
works,
can't
but
even begin to pretend that I know, the whys. Um, but
well, I mean, we could be expecting price hikes for everything.
oh
Like
yeah,
the Switch might even go up again because of the trade wars right now and tariffs and
yeah.
stuff like that. I mean,
Well, it's wild to think that like for certain countries, like this most recent price hike isn't affecting the U.S., but the U.S. has already seen a price hike for the PS5 back in 2023, I think it was like $50 or something. It went up.
Hmm.
So it's like you actually saved money buying a PlayStation 5 day one as opposed to, or year one as opposed to year three, year four.
Maybe it's a strategy to sell more PS4 Pros because they have a bigger inventory of those or PS5 Pros, and
Yeah,
they're trying to deter people to go buy. It's like
it could be.
I don't know.
It could also be
It's like
like, oh, geez, the PS5s are getting a price hike, but the PS5 Pro hasn't. I got to get myself a PS5 Pro before they announce a price hike for that one too. So
yeah.
maybe that's their strategy.
I
Just
kind of see it as like I have 50 yellow eggs in my store and I only got 5 green eggs. I gotta raise the price of green eggs by 200% so that everybody buys my yellow eggs, or else they're just gonna sit here and rot.
yeah, maybe so. But it is pretty crazy to see like the digital and physical editions of the PS5 now being like the same price in these
Yeah,
countries. And
for sure.
it might not be too long before Sony announces an additional price hike for the US, depending on, you know, economic stuff and what ends up going down the next couple of weeks. It is interesting to note that both PlayStation or Sony and Apple have been taking freight planes and actually shipping mass hardware overseas to the United States before the tariffs and stuff went in place. There was an article a few days
Yep.
ago that Apple had shipped out like 3 or 4 Boeings filled to the brim with iPhones overseas before
Yeah.
before the tariffs took place.
Because they don't want to pay more. They don't want to pay the tariffs, and they
Yeah.
don't want to have to as much as I mean, as much as I'm sure these companies would love to just make $1,000 more per item on a phone or something. If a phone costs $1,000, I'm sure they don't want to charge 1,500 and have nobody. Well, I say nobody, but we're talking about Apple phones
You
here,
you
so
have an
it's
audience,
a
yeah.
bad example. That's a bad example, but like if you can get it out sooner, I think at the end of the day, it's not about whether the price goes up or not. It's how much capital, like how much money is that company losing?
Hmm.
And if that company wasn't losing anything, like if people, which again, this is why this is a relevant topic for Nintendo. Um, if the tariffs don't affect Nintendo, if Nintendo, like let's say tomorrow, Nintendo decides the Switch is going to cost $800, which is absurd. And because of tariffs or shipping or whatever. And the Nintendo Switch tomorrow costs $800, and then it comes out, and everybody still buys one. Doesn't matter. Everybody bought one. Nintendo just made a profit. Well, they didn't really make a profit, but like they're making it 800 to compensate for tariffs and what they're paying. And so if they feel comfortable raising the price because they know everybody's just going to buy it, then they're going to do that. Same with iPhones. Um, so it really just depends. Like, what's the increase?
Hmm.
Who's the audience? Are people going to buy it anyway? Um, I think it's an overall loss for the consumer for this to happen, obviously.
Oh
But
yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to get into you know yeah, what's happening with the economy because that's, in my opinion, boring and not what I want to talk about. But
for sure.
I feel like it'll correct itself at some point, but uh, I don't know how long it's going to be, and so we might be looking at more expensive consoles, more expensive everything, and I don't really know what that spells for. Like Sony's already like we're looking at this with the PS5. I mean, like Nintendo's kind of they have like kind of their one foot in the water already because like you remember the Switch came out in 2017 and PS5 and was I don't even know what are we on with Xbox now? Xbox Series
Series.
X
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
I just call it the
So
series because they have the S and the X model, so I just say Xbox Series.
yeah, but my point is, Wii U came out a year before PS4 and Xbox.
Hmm.
The Switch came out and jumped the gun and started the new generation before
It's like a half step.
PS5 and Xbox. Yeah, because of how their system is. But so I feel like Nintendo's like they got one foot out in front with this entire situation, and so you know if you're like a Sony fan, you're like, okay, well, this is affecting PS5. PS6 isn't even out yet. That's not happening. So maybe by the time this tariff stuff is over or this shipping stuff is over, maybe the PS6 won't be affected. Maybe the Switch 2 is just going to eat the biggest load of crap
It could
compared to the
just
two of them.
yeah, just based solely on timing. It could be that
Yeah,
way.
they could have
Or
waited another year.
this stuff lingers around for much longer than anyone's expecting or anybody wants,
Oh,
and PS6 ends up being $900, $1,000. For because we're already in a post PS5 Pro generation, and that thing retails for like 700, 750. I think it's 700.
you know what's crazy to me? People are still paying hundreds of dollars more than that for an iPhone.
Yeah, I know. iPhone.
No offense to anybody out there that has an iPhone, but
I have
I
an
don't
iPhone.
understand.
I don't care. Like,
But did you buy it full retail when it was
yeah,
the newest model?
yeah. This thing, it's a 12, but at the time it was like 12, 1300. It's the Pro Max, 12 Pro Max.
Elderly Jeffrey over there is going to be spending $8,000 USD on
Listen,
iPhone 36.
I didn't pay cash. If Nintendo came up to me and was like, "Hey, yeah, the Switch 2 is going to be $500, but it's going to go on your phone plan and we're going to charge you $30 a month." I'll take 4 of them. Give them to me. Like, it's so easy to go in there and get the newest and shiniest phone when you don't see the lump sum of cash leaving your bank account. Just I'm sticking with my phone plan anyway. Don't matter. It don't matter. Stop. Quit it. No,
Whatever you say, dude.
listen. My phone's like 4 years old now, so I gotta go get a new one right now,
Well, pull out that $1,000 bill.
dude. One shiny $1,000 bill for you. No, it's crazy. I know it's a little off topic, but at the same time, not. It's crazy to me that there's people out there who bought last year's model and will like bust out the tent and stay overnight at the Apple store for like launch for the iPhone 17 or whatever. And it's like, you have the 16, you have the best version. Your phone is 10 months old, and
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. That's crazy.
Well, I think some of these people are mentally ill, but I also think other people are just tech enthusiasts. And if you got the disposable income, I mean, I kind of get it. Like, I kind of get it, but less than a year out, like that's crazy to me.
So I understand the hype, kind of a little maybe like 10 years ago, like when the iPhone 4 came
new.
out, and it was like, check out Siri. This is like a handheld like virtual assistant, and like very basic, but at the time people were like, "Oh, right." It's like, this is the coolest thing. I have to have it. Even though I just bought last year's model, I have to have this one because of like this Siri integration or whatever. It was like a reason
if it had, it's something new.
yeah, something brand new.
Yeah.
Like my iPhone 12, and I'm looking at like the 16s or 7. I think it's 16 right now. But I'm looking at the 16, and I'm like,
So you don't even know.
no, because
You don't know what number it is.
because what's different? The last time there was like a major like hardware shift was the 10, from the 9 to the 10. They changed the phone like screen. They got rid of the home button. It's like the screen envelops the entire like case now. There's no borders on the tops and bottoms. So it was like, it looked like a brand new iPhone. Like, this is the next step of iPhone. And that was exciting. Like, especially for people who are, because they do exist, like phone enthusiasts absolutely exist. That was like a very exciting time to, be in that sort of atmosphere. But since the 10, the 11, the 12, the 13, the 14, the 15, and now the 16, it just looks like an iPhone 10. Like, there's small little changes, I guess, like to the case. It's more flat now on the edges. Like, it's got like a sharp edge. But it's the 16 right now looks indistinguishable from the 12 that I have on my desk right now. And so, like, I'm not going to, jump the gun and get the newest phone when it's literally the same phone, except now it runs 10% faster than the last year's model. Anyway,
Okay, nerd. Yeah.
anyway,
Anyway. Um,
phones.
the Xbox Game Show is going to be the showcase. The Xbox Game Showcase is going to be soon here.
Yeah, that's happening June 8th. They always like announce it a month or two in
Isn't that
advance.
isn't that close to the Nintendo Switch 2 release date?
That is 3 days after the Switch 2 comes out. The Switch 2 comes out June 5th, and this is
I feel
happening
like
3 days later.
Yeah, I feel like these games companies do that deliberately. They're like, "Oh, the Switch came out on this day. We need to do something right after it comes out to
Yeah,
showcase our stuff so people forget about what's
on,
happening with
yeah.
this."
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to hear or to learn that like other console manufacturers specifically look at something like, "Oh, the Switch 2 is coming out the 5th. We can't let like the general audience forget about Xbox. So we need to do
Well,
something big."
they absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I mean, even I remember just something from my WoW background. Blizzard did that in 2020. I don't remember what it was. It was something for WoW Classic or retail or something, but it was right around the time Doom 2016 and Animal Crossing was coming out, and it was this big thing during the pandemic.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you couldn't go anywhere and not see that stuff. They had a release for some patch, and I can't remember what it was. It was either I want to say because what is that? It was like June. That was like April of
That was
2020.
March 2020, I think.
They changed a release date for a raid release or something like that because of when those two games were coming out because they didn't
Really?
want to be overshadowed. Yeah, they do that
Wow.
all the time.
Okay. That's
They do that with their
interesting.
own games and other games and things like that because they don't. It's just like think about it. Like if
Well, especially since
I'm just
like the model of World of Warcraft is like that monthly subscription, and if your user base is going, "Hey, I'm gonna cancel this for a month or two, so I
well,
can
some people forget, but
play
yeah.
Doom and I can play Animal Crossing for a little while." From Blizzard's perspective, they're going, "We have to do something relevant to keep our users engaged. We can't have them off the beaten path doing something not related to this."
Well, so sort of. They most people are just going to stay sub. They're not going to cancel their.
Sure.
So they're not like people. They're not like you and PK where you're like, oh well, I'm done playing WoW. I'm just going to cancel my sub. No, people just leave their subs running,
Yeah.
especially when they pay annually.
Oh
It's
yeah,
more
yeah.
that it's not about the subscription really. It's more about they can't have a major patch come out the same time that Animal Crossing or a big game comes out because then nobody's playing the patch that's supposed to be brand new. They're playing this instead. It's more about the engagement with the new patch, especially retail. Classic is old stuff. I'm getting off topic here with WoW, but my point is I think other game companies absolutely change their due dates for game releases and even console releases. Look at 2013. Nintendo just kind of did their own thing and released the Wii U whenever the hell they felt like it. But Xbox and Sony were staring each other down
Oh yeah. Yeah.
like this the whole time, waiting for the other one to make a move. And the moment the other person, I forget who went first, but one of them announced. I think it was like Xbox announced the Xbox One, and within 24 hours, Sony announced the PS4. They were literally waiting for that
Right.
announcement date.
Yeah.
So they absolutely do that.
Yeah. It's interesting to think because it's not one of those things I actively think about, but it makes all the sense in the world for these companies to look at other companies and be like, we need to wait and see what they're doing. Like I'm sure Sony and Xbox or Microsoft both are looking at the Switch 2 and the whole everything surrounding it going, we need to watch this really closely to see how people react to it, to see, this, that, and the other.
Oh, everybody's watching.
Everybody's watching. Whether you're a console manufacturer or you're a third party developer, Rockstar's watching.
Oh, Rockstar is just waiting to see what can we get away with? How much money can we just absolutely rob people of? Well, I don't want to say rob because I mean, let's be real. GTA 6 is going to be amazing. It's going to
Yeah.
be the most involved thing ever. But I guess the thing I think about is Rockstar's basically saying we already know we're going to charge more than $60 for the game at this
Yeah.
point.
Well, I
But
think.
can we get away with 70, 80, 90? And so that's actually the thing I was looking at today,
Mhm.
um, that I was thinking about today when I was talking to you earlier. Here's the dangerous, and I know we're going on the price thing again, but
It's a hot
it's
topic,
exactly what
dude.
these other
It's
companies are doing. Here's the problem with these prices and companies waiting in the wings for this. Um, this is a big, big, big thing. Nintendo has now set the precedent. They've said these are going to be. This is an $80 game. This is a $70 game. This is a $60 game. Oh, this one's going to be a $50 game. So what that says, essentially, what that says, Nintendo is saying Mario Kart. Well, I mean, Mario Kart's Mario Kart, but what Nintendo is saying with their mouths, they're saying Mario Kart is a premium game. It is worth $80. Anything that is not priced at $80 is not premium. And so, like Donkey Kong, they're saying is worth $10 less. Or another game that comes out that is $50 or $60, they are indirectly saying or directly saying this is not necessarily a premium game. And so if the norm becomes $80 to $90 for a video game, you bet your ass EA and Activision and all these different gaming companies are going to say, well, we can't release a game. It's not even about money. It's the fact that like we can't release a game at $60 or $70 because now we're saying our game is not premium. That's the problem.
right, right.
They're saying our game is now viewed as below premium. We are the bargain bin game. And so, like, if the new Assassin's Creed or whatever comes out and it's priced at 69.99, everybody's going to start saying, well, what's wrong with it?
Right. This game's $10 less than Mario Kart, so like I'm gonna get less of an experience from this game than I would
Yeah,
Mario Kart.
and that opens the conversation. Why is the game cheaper? It's
Right.
not just because you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You're telling us that and that's the dangerous precedent that Nintendo is setting.
Yeah.
They're saying they're saying all of this level right here, here's the premium level.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at 80, 90, this is premium. Anything we put down here, especially since we don't lower prices, this is not premium. This is old news or bargain bin. And this Kirby game that came out, $60,
Right.
not $80. So it's not like um it's not like the new Zelda game or Mario game. It's not like the new Donkey Kong game. It's not Mario Kart. And so whenever you see a price tag like that, because like I don't like to just pay more for things, but when I go to a store and I see something at a really low price, one of my first inklings is
What's wrong
what's
with it?
wrong with it?
Yeah.
Is it going to break?
No,
Is
I
it
know what
just
you
low
mean too.
quality?
You can walk into an aisle and you can like you go to the bread aisle, and you expect us to pay $2-3 for a loaf of bread. You look
Yeah,
next to
maybe
the
4 or 5.
$2-3 loaf of bread and you see the 39-cent loaf of bread and you go, what is wrong with that loaf of bread?
Am I going to get radioactive poisoning?
Right. Yeah. So I'm gonna get food
Like-
poisoning, even though like the expiration date. You look at the expiration date;
Yeah.
it's good until 2027 for some reason. You're like, there's something seriously wrong with this bread.
Now, I don't necessarily think that when I see like an indie game that's 19.99
No,
or
no, yeah,
$30 or $40. But the problem is in the AAA game industry, with this new standard being set, if I see a $60 game when the price has been raised to $80 for a standard game, I'm now because like we've had $40 games. Like
yeah.
$40 games have come out, $50 games have come out, but it's been understood, oh, okay, that's a lower budget game.
Well,
Or
it's
that was on the
interesting
3DS or something.
because wrapping around to our first topic, both the Crash Insane trilogy and the Spyro Reignited trilogy retailed at $40 for all three of those games, and like I don't know, we still don't know why. I don't know if like we're not sure if like they weren't confident in the product or
It's a lower tier game. They're saying
it doesn't
that.
it doesn't feel like one.
Well, then you got to bargain.
I guess so. It's so yeah. So let me ask you this: down the road, 3-4 years, let's say Nintendo doesn't backpedal, and they're like, hey, yeah, don't care what you have to say, don't care about the backlash. Mario Kart's $80, and moving forward, anything that we justify as a premium product is going to be $80+. They set that bar, they set the stage for that. Do you think 3-4 years from now, third party companies follow suit? Do you think like do you think the industry standard as we know it 3 to 4 years from now is shattered, and it's just third party companies? If it's a AAA studio making a AAA game, expect them to price whatever they want on it. There's no $70 standard. Ubisoft comes out with the new Assassin's
I
Creed. They think it's worth $90.
I
Rockstar
don't
thinks
know
GTA 6
whether
worth $150.
but that's my point. I don't know because I don't even think it's about money at this point. I think it's about the social status of saying we've put this time and effort into this game, and if we price it at $60, people are going to think this is not a serious title. They're
Right.
not going to think that this is a real game, basically. Because like I kind of think that too. I know that's like not a good way to think. For whatever reason, I have this veil in front of me when it comes to like name brand companies. If it's Nintendo or it's Sony or Ubisoft or any of these companies that we talk about on the daily, it's like, oh, it's a $40 game. Why is it $40? But then I'll go on Steam and I'll go dumpster diving for whatever game, and I'll spend $20 on a game and have a great time with it because for whatever reason that illusion is not there when it comes to the $20 game.
Right. So
I mean, hell, like my favorite game of all time, Resident Evil Remake, when it got the HD remaster on PC and Xbox and PlayStation, the 1080p remaster, with the modern controls and everything. How much do you think that retailed for when it came out in 2015?
I want to say 60.
$20.
$20.
$20. Now
Wow.
zero, and it was 0 and 1, so it was $40.
Oh, for like a bundle?
I don't know if it was it might have been $30 if you bought them together, but I just know separately they were $20 and $20. So it was
okay.
a $20 game.
Wow.
I don't remember if there was a bundle, but they were $20 games. They didn't charge $60
That's crazy.
For the whole thing.
You know what's wild to think about? Like, and again, we've already beat this horse, dead and foaming, but
Yeah.
it's wild to think that in 2014, you said
2015.
2015, it got an upscaled textures, it got faster frame rate, it got basically all the things that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are getting.
Yep.
And it was $20 versus 70, 80. You want the DLC $90 for a 4K
That's
texture
crazy to me.
pack.
I can't believe you're charging for frame rate.
Yeah. You're
Charging
putting
money for frame rate and you don't even get the DLC.
you're putting an unlocked frame rate behind a paywall. Yeah. Anyway,
Let's consider that's our price our price rant.
Yeah. Of the day.
Podcast
yeah.
today.
We'll see you
But
next
what I
week for
wanna-
next week's price rant, I'm sure.
It's
but-
not going away until we see something happen here.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to talk about is kind of excited because even if I don't get a Switch right away, whether I do or don't, there's a Mario Kart World Direct showcase in a few days.
There is. It's happening on Thursday, this Thursday. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they have. Especially, I think everybody's kind of in this mindset right now of you're charging $80 for this game. Show us why this game is $80, right? And they had like the Treehouse Live last week, and they were going through like the stuff that was already announced, like the Grand Prix, and they were doing the Knockout Tour. It was like that Battle Royale style game mode, and they did a little bit of like free roaming. And what's interesting to me is there was an interview last week, I think, maybe just a few days ago. I don't know how I have the exact timeline, but it was with Bill Trennan, and I might have mentioned this in last week's episode. But he was like, "We're not going to spoil anything here, but there's a reason why this game is $80. Like,
We'll see.
It's like, I think in his words, he said it was like the most vast and most like involved Mario Kart experience we've ever made.
God, I hope so. I still don't think it's right to charge $80 for it, but like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things I want to see, and honestly, there's some other games that have ruined me in this sense. I know it's a racing go-kart game, so like I can't expect the world,
Mm-hmm.
the world.
Uh,
But like, you want to know what I want to see in this game?
Tell
I know
me.
we'll never see it. We'll never see it.
Tell me.
Uh, There's a game that has ruined me for kind of the off-road experience, the side quests, if you will.
Okay.
And that game, that game is Final Fantasy 15.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Now, Final Fantasy 15 is not Mario Kart. I understand that, but
Knocked us in a little
what
go-kart.
what yeah, what I really want to see, and I got it, there's no reason for anybody to put this kind of effort into this, and there's no reason to add this extra content. But the things that really get me in games is like imagine you're playing Mario Kart, you're on a race car, you're on a race course, and like they said, then when you're done with the race, you can just go and drive anywhere, and maybe you get on Highway 66 or whatever it is in the Mario Kart world, and you see a plethora of other players on the road, and then you see a diner on the side of the road in on this highway Mario Kart
Yeah,
66
you go to
whatever.
Yoshi Burger off the side of the
You go
road.
to you go to Yoshi Burger, you park your car in the parking spot, and you can get out of the car as Mario, walk into the diner, and you can order food and come up with a recipe or something,
Yeah.
and you can just chill in the diner and talk to NPCs or other people or something, and then when you're done you get back in your car and you drive like kind of because Final Fantasy 15 is still at its heart like an RPG, action RPG, whatever you want to call it, and there's stats and there's gear and the big grand scheme of the story and the villain, but there's so many things in Final Fantasy 15 that are just like you can stop all of that and you can just get in your car and you can play the radio and chill with the boys
It's a road
and just
trip
go on an
simulator.
off. It's a road
Yeah,
trip
it's a road
simulator,
trip simulator.
but not even when you're in the car. You have that beachside restaurant
Oh
where you
yeah.
would sit there and you have all the recipes and you had Ignis making he would make the recipes and you'd have a campfire. I know Mario Kart is not an open world RPG or something, but it would be really cool if while I'm not racing, I could go off and do these other distractions. I think RuneScape calls them detours and distractions. D&D,
Detours and
detours and
distractions.
distractions is what they call them, and those are what the mini games and just little
Mm-hmm.
things that are supposed to distract. It's kind of like chocobo racing or something in Final Fantasy VII. It would be really cool just to, for no reason, have some world building or just immersive stuff in that game that you could do that makes me actually want to, like, this is what I want. Again, another example of the vibe I'm looking for. I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn for the first time. I haven't really played two. I played
I
one.
haven't played two yet.
I'll probably play two at some point, but one was especially great because I realized about 2 or 3 hours into the campaign, I couldn't remember what I was doing with the story. I couldn't remember what my actual objective was until I looked at it. I had spent the last hour or so just killing monsters, killing
Mm-hmm.
the robots because it was so fun. And that's what I kind of want out of a Mario Kart game or any game that touts itself this way, where you can just go anywhere and do anything.
Well, that's
I
what
want to get
they've
lost in just
advertised it
driving.
as. Yeah, they've
Yeah.
advertised it so far as this. Hey, it's Mario Kart, but it's open world. You can go here. Like the cover art or like a lot of the promotional art right now just showcases the map, like the road map.
Hmm.
And I personally I don't think it'll happen where you can get out of your car and go explore and you can go and I would love that.
I'm not gonna be able to get out of your car.
No, like, but I would, even if it was like a zone thing, it's like, oh, if you stop and you park at the diner, then you can get out
Hmm.
of your car and there's a proximity that you can get out of your car and explore this
Look,
little,
that's what I was saying.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like there's like a, invisible wall around this radius around the Yoshi burger. And then you can
that's
go in
fun.
and you can interact with NPCs, you talk to NPCs, maybe they'll allude to,
That'd be really cool.
hints or, something around to discover in the open world. They need
Or
to do
there's a
something.
race happening in 10 minutes over here.
Right, yeah, I heard someone over on this like mountain hill was, he claims to be the fastest racer and was looking for a challenge or something. That's what I heard
I love
anyway.
that.
Like that would be awesome. I don't see them doing something that involved, but at the same time,
But it's an $80 game.
that's what I was gonna say.
It's an $80 game.
I'm sitting here
Jeffrey.
going, there's no way they'll actually take it that far. But then the other half of me is going, it's an $80 game. They're telling you, stay tuned. There's a reason this game is $80, right?
Bill Trinan pulled the Papa John. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So, God,
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. So, yeah,
Without the sweat.
I don't think Bill was that sweaty when it happened.
Or racist.
Yeah, God. So, I think they'll need to do something where it's not just. I don't want to go into this presentation with them going you see that Mario Kart mountain? Yeah, you could drive over there. It's like, yeah, I know. You already said I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, but let me show you that you could do it. I don't like open world Mario Kart as a concept. Neat. That's cool.
How mad would you be if it was just a bunch of Tears of the Kingdom Legos?
Like a build your own car sort of thing.
Actually, I take that. I would love a build your own car sort of thing in Mario Kart. But I don't want
from like the promotional material and stuff, the treehouse stuff and like the Switch 2 like live events that they had people go into. A lot of people were reporting they got rid of even like the little customization in carts. Remember, like in Mario Kart 7 and 8, you could change the wheels, you could change the body, you could change the cape.
Why would they get rid of that?
Yeah, it's not a thing anymore. But there's like 50 something characters. You could play as the little crab. You can play as a dolphin. You can play as a cow. You can play as a.
Yeah, we're getting excited about cow now.
I want to play as cow. Everybody wants to play as cow. I want to play as Goomba. I want to play as.
They're running out of characters.
The Moo Meadows cow.
They need to start making this like Smash Bros, where like guest characters are.
Well, they kind of dabbled in that with 8. There was the Animal Crossing villager. Isabelle was there. The Inklings were there.
Characters.
Yeah. Oh, you're thinking third party? You want Solid Snake in Mario Kart?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Do you know how hyped people get?
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, it's not Smash where everybody has like their own moveset, but they kind of have their own personality. Like Bowser's fat as hell, and you run into him, you spin out. Like Snake's fat cheeks could be spilling out of the cart, and
yeah,
you
get that Sephiroth reveal trailer as a new playable character in Mario Kart.
And we get to watch Max react all over again. That would be cool. Oh, but I think that's the direction that Mario Kart should go. I really think they should consider. I mean, really, how much work is it? It's way less work than Smash would be. Sakurai had to come up with a whole move set for each and every character. If Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat gets an invite to Mario Kart, they don't have to program a move set for him. They just got to sit his model down in a car and he just has to drive. Think about it.
So yeah, I mean, character implementation, I could see them doing like, here's some DLC characters or whatever. And it's like you said, it's not exactly high effort. They just have to like it's high effort in the sense that, like, yeah, they have to rig a character model and they got to make sure it fits in, give it animations and stuff. I mean, but when you're comparing like that sort of character rigging versus an entire moveset, a stage, music and stuff, like, yeah, it's not really something you can compare it with. But
I just think they should do it when we're starting to be like, hey guys, guess what? Cow is going to be in this game.
Cow is going to be in Mario Kart. Yeah.
It's like, all right, dude.
I'll even not third party. I'll take other Nintendo IP. I was actually for a couple of years there, I was convinced that the next Mario Kart was going to be like a Nintendo Kart. Like they would drop the Mario name and they would just do like a Smash style collab with like a bunch of Mario or like Nintendo IP kart stages and stuff. But I guess that's just not the route they're going, which is fine. It's understandable in hindsight because like the Mario Kart brand again sells 70 million units. Why would you compromise that brand? But ultimately, I want to see. I would love to see, and I think actually might happen. Maybe not as like grandiose as Road Trip with Your Boys, Final Fantasy 15 style, but even like Diddy Kong Racing had a single player campaign with like unlockable areas that where it's like, hey, you
you
know,
don't really have that in Mario Kart.
no, like the closest thing we got was in Mario Kart DS. We got mission mode, which was like here's a bunch of little like mini things to achieve, and then we'll give you a ranking based on how well you did. And there's like I think there's like 30 something
Yeah.
missions or whatever, which was cool. Like I liked that a lot at the time. I would love to see them go that route, but be way more involved, especially with the whole open world thing. The last thing I want to see is them go, here's an open world. You go, cool. What can I do with it? They go, drive.
Yeah. That's kind of what I don't want to see.
Yeah, that's like that. Why would you make a world this big if there's like nothing to do in it, right? Like so, I'm really crossing my fingers that by the time this presentation is done, this direct on Thursday, that I'll just be like, best case scenario, I can go. I could see why they're doing $80. I'm not happy they're doing $80, but I can see it.
You know what game had a big world like that where you could drive around with nothing
Shut
to do in
up! Nah. I know. It's Breath of the Wild, Tears of the
Oh.
Kingdom. It's
it? No,
the
I was gonna say nuts and bolts.
okay. No, I thought you were doing the Tears of the Kingdom thing.
Breath of the Wild had plenty to do in it. It was nuts
Enough.
and bolts.
Yeah. No, that's true. Nuts and bolts definitely had the look at this giant world with nothing in it. Like
That's because I mean,
I dog on Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, but it's definitely no Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
I mean, JonTron covered it pretty well. He made a good point. I'm pretty sure what happened is they developed the game to be Banjo 3, and then it got turned into nuts. The world was not designed
I think that's like
for
the
nuts
general
and bolts.
consensus. Yeah, is like the worlds were built first, and then halfway, a quarter or third way through development, some like
Let's make it a car game.
right, the paradigm shifted, and they're like, we need to do this now, and they just reused the assets that they were already working with, and it just doesn't. These two things don't mesh together at all.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that'll happen with Nintendo, but
no,
they
I
still
don't
need
think
to
so
have a
either. But like,
justification.
and again, just a disclaimer: I don't hate Breath of the Wild, and I don't hate Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not a huge fan of.
I hate Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm not a huge fan of the direction they took the games. I know it's like a lukewarm take. I've seen people, it's the most divided Zelda game or the most divided two Zelda games, and I'm on the I don't care for it very much side of that coin.
We can we'll make a Zelda podcast.
We'll make a
a
separate video talking about what I like and dislike about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I can't wait for
Ultimately,
that one.
yeah, but this is not that time.
Not that time.
I do want to say, lastly, for the Mario Kart world, I don't want it to be nothing or something that we've already seen and them go
just driving.
Yeah, just drive. I don't think it'll be as involved as get out of your car and go up this mountain that's inaccessible from a car's point and just climb up this hill as Mario and find a hidden item or something. But I would love for them to be like, here's a bunch of like side quests and you can talk to, even if the NPCs you're talking to are just in the car, like at a parking lot or something, and you can talk to them that way. Like even if you can't leave the car, I would love to like talk to Wario and he's like, hey, go that way. I saw, a hint or I saw something interesting in that direction. Just give me like quests. You know what I mean? Like, give me something to do that's not just
At the
go that way and drive.
bare minimum, it needs to be Diddy Kong Racing because Diddy Kong Racing came out like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago.
I want an involved first player or single player experience in the Mario Kart, right? In you have this vast open world you're claiming that you can drive anywhere and you can, you can steer off the track and go off-roading and go find stuff. Make it worthwhile, Oh, I'm going to try and get up this mountain. Give me either an incentive to try and get up the mountain in the first place or give me something that rewards my effort in getting up that mountain. Like,
Yeah.
quick side, like little tangent, because I feel like I've been complaining too much this episode and last. One of the coolest things ever in like recent memory was playing through Mario Odyssey, and there's like these tall structures specifically. It's before the boss, like the Aztec statue boss, where you like got to possess the hand and punch him in the face, like that whole ice area. Just before that boss, there's this long like cobblestone hallway. There's these lanterns, and then there's a big towering like architecture, and by no means are you meant to get up to the top of that structure. But it's possible. And it's possible. And when you do get up there, there's a giant stack of coins waiting for you as a little, we pat you on the back. Hey, you're not meant to be up here, but we know you can. And, you know, good job for getting up here. It's such a small little detail that just sticks with me across that entire experience. That's like that experience, or that moment in that game is one of like the like most core memory. Like it's one of the biggest like moments or memories I have playing Mario Odyssey, is just getting up to a random building, on the top of a random building that didn't look like you could get up there, but I somehow, I did the cappy jump, I finagled my way up there somehow, some way. And the developer was like, we recognize you. Here, have these coins. And it's like, cool, coins aren't like the biggest thing in the world. And they can't put a moon up there, because then they expect that tells the player that we expected you to get up here, right? So they can't lock a moon behind that area. But just a handful of coins and, a good job, a little pat on the back. I want that experience in this open world Mario Kart. I want to be able to, like, maybe if I drift and boost off of this cliff, it'll be just enough momentum to get to this other cliff that looks to be just a bit too far. And you get up there and you actually land and you make it, and there's something there waiting for you. Give me,
I like the sense of discovery.
Yeah. Give me a reason to explore this world. Don't just, hey, we made a Mario Kart and we made the world really, really big. So
I want them to put stuff to do in it.
Yeah, give me something to do. And I want to see what I can do in this Direct. I want to be sold on this game. But yeah, if they can, either that, or they go, hey, it's Mario Kart, it's this, that, and the other. And we talked about this like last week, and you laughed at me because it would probably never happen. And you're right, it probably will never happen. But the only other way they could justify an $80 price tag is they go, hey, we're going to support this game with free DLC for 5 years or 3 years. Here's the base. Here's the base game.
They're not going to do that.
I understand that, but I'm telling you, that was in my head, that would make the $80 worth the price. Because at that point, you're just paying for DLC ahead of time. They're not going to do it. You're right. But
you want to know why they're not going to do it?
Well, because they can make DLC and charge you separately for it, and you're going to buy it anyway.
It doesn't even have it doesn't have anything to do with something that hasn't happened yet. The reason why they're not going to do that is they already aren't doing that. They're already charging more for Breath of the Wild.
Right.
And that game already exists. It's the whole, we already talked about that. The whole situation, again, I'll summarize. That the fact that they're charging more money for Breath of the Wild on Switch 2 that doesn't even include the DLC, that does not convince me that they're going to do something like that for Mario Kart.
I don't think they will either. I truly don't think they'll do that. But I'm saying that would make it worth it to me. If they did that, if on Thursday they go, hey, we're doing this, I would go, hey, now that $80 price tag makes a little more sense. That's all I'm saying. I'm telling you, there's not an ounce of my being that believes in some way they'll do that. I don't think they will. But I think that would make it worth it. I love
Nintendo games, but I am convinced that if Nintendo could sell me the rights to breathe the air on their property, or the rights to breathe air in general, they would do it.
Yeah. It's. I think people get this. Not to go on this tangent or this rant, but I think people tend to forget that Nintendo does not have your best interest in mind because
they're a company,
right? Well, all of their characters are so like bright and colorful and happy-go-lucky, and Mario's, wahoo, and I'm happy, and Mario's not over here going, hey, give me money, $80, please, for my game. He's not doing it, but so all of these Nintendo IPs paint a very colorful picture, and Nintendo loves to keep up that sort of facade of we're your friends, we're here with your best interests in mind. But ultimately, they're a company. They're here to make money off of you, and that's not
Yeah.
that's not to say that hey, if you're a fan of Nintendo, you're wrong. Because I'm a fan of Nintendo. The reason why I'm so critical of Nintendo and their actions is because I love their work to death. I love their work,
Yeah.
and ultimately, I want to see the best version of them, right? What I'm seeing now with the Switch 2 and the $80 Mario Kart and the variable pricing is not the best of them. To me, this is the worst of them. This is the dark, shadowy
companies go through
figure.
their. Well, they've always been like this, though. That's
Well,
the
I
thing
know.
is like people have to. It's like this parasocial relationship thing that people have with streamers. They tell you never to meet your heroes and never develop these sorts of relationships because Nintendo has always been like this. Like people, I hate to break it to people that are huge fans of Nintendo because like I'm a huge fan of Nintendo and I own a ton of Nintendo products, but Nintendo has always been like this. They've just had better leadership, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be the biggest shill for like Reggie and Iwata. Like
Hmm.
the Iwata and Reggie era was the best because those people really did have
They
their
cared.
employees'
Like,
best in.
yeah,
They cared, but they were still businessmen. Reggie still got his ass up on stage
for
and
sure.
pitch stuff. But like, let's be clear, Nintendo. If you're watching, let me be clear. You're not evil for wanting to make money. You're evil for the way you're doing it right now.
That,
And
yeah,
and
that's fair.
this is you. And here's the roller coaster of success and failure. The Wii U failed, and so you decided that you were going to be consumer friendly. Well, now you're back up on the Nintendo Switch sales. You're now up on your high horse from the Nintendo Switch 1, and now we're getting evil Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo. So it's a real shame that we're only allowed to have a consumer friendly Nintendo every other generation.
Well, every time they
Because you
do
have,
bad, essentially, it's every
yeah, the
time
Wii,
that they're kind of
GameCube.
down in the dumps.
GameCube was a failure. And then we got the Wii, which was a huge success. Then we got the Wii U, which was a failure. And then we got the Switch, which is a success. And I have a feeling, I don't, maybe not, it's not going to be as bad as the Wii U, but I feel like the Switch 2 is, they're not going to get the success and the accolades that they want. But what I'm also afraid of is that the way that they're going about this might actually yield them similar results, which might encourage them to continue on this path. Because you got to think of it like this: if you charge more money for everything, and you only lose like 25% of your fan base, you're making the same, if not more, money.
Right.
So they don't care. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, Nintendo's a company. I'm not emotionally attached to anybody at that company. I, I like the games. It's a shame that I don't get to play maybe every game that I want to because I may not be buying the console. Who knows? But it's a real shame that it's going to take another Wii U for them to, give a crap again.
Right. No,
Um,
and
I don't
it's
know.
not like a Nintendo exclusive mindset either. And we talked about this last week. Every single time a company or one of these
Oh, it's
console,
all of them.
titans sees success, they do something in their successor that makes the consumer go, "What are you guys? What are you doing?" Like we talked about last week, we talked about the Xbox 360 versus the Xbox One and how Microsoft got really comfortable and they're like, "Hey, people love Xbox 360. We can throw a $150 webcam in our console, bundle it for $500 and always require it to be online, and it'll be fine." They get blindsided by success, and Sony the same way. Between the PS2,
It's
after the success of the PS2, they're going, "Hey, people want to spend $600 on our PlayStation 3." It's and
but it happens every other
it
generation. It's
does.
like they forgot what happened last generation.
Right. There's this. It almost feels like this, like corporations like this, or like have amnesia or something. They have this very, very specific, like 3 to 4 year memory cycle, and they can't remember what happened, 4 years in the past. So, like, oh,
Or they just want to
this will
see
be
what they can
fine.
get away with.
I think that's what it boils down to. Ultimately, is like, hey, now that we're at the top again, let's see how far we can push this thing before, and worst case, maybe we'll crash a bit. I don't. Maybe that's not their mind because, like, who would? I don't know. I don't know, man. Ultimately,
Oh.
do better, Nintendo. Do better.
Yeah. ul-
Do better.
Ultimately, I'm looking forward to the showcase. I
Yeah.
want to see these games. I don't think I'll never play them. I just don't think I can support them in the state that they're in, and with the economy and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to the Mario Kart Direct. I'm looking forward to, or the showcase, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the Switch, the Xbox showcase, the PlayStation, and what a lot of these companies are going to do. Um, I just think it might be uh, I think the smarter decision might be just to sit back and kind of let the dust settle a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not go so bananas on launch. But hey, like if a game is worth it to me, if it is $80 and I think it's amazing enough, I will buy it. I'm just not convinced that every game is going to be worth $80,
For sure. Yeah.
or
Well, that's
like
what we were
maybe
talking
like
about.
Donkey Kong $70. I get it, but anyway, I think that's I think it's a good synopsis or a good stopping point for this.
Well,
Um,
real quick, I wanted to talk about. I know neither of us are the biggest like Xbox fans, but I did want to bring up some potential like things I'm looking forward to for the Xbox showcase.
sure.
So like I said like an hour ago, Banjo, not happening.
Yeah.
That's my clown makeup prediction. Put on my big red nose and my rainbow wig. That's my pipe dream. I would love to see something, anything
Yeah.
Banjo. Because I'll take a poster. Microsoft announce a $40 poster. I'll buy it. It's Banjo. Anyway, things that I think could be at the Xbox showcase, aside from your
Yeah.
Gears, your Forzas, your Call of Duty, um, Elder Scrolls 6, maybe that got
I mean,
announced in 2018, and we haven't seen anything outside of a logo.
why would that
So
be the Xbox showcase?
because Microsoft owns Bethesda,
Oh,
yes sir.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So what was that? Yeah, it was E3 2018. Todd Howard came out on stage and gave us an Elder Scrolls 6 logo and some
I remember.
mountain, and they're like, "Get excited!" And that was 7 years ago, and we haven't heard anything since then. So maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the showcase. We see something
Yeah.
Microsoft or Elder Scrolls related. That would be cool. I know that they were saying Outer Worlds 2 was going to be there. That's like the only confirmed thing that's going to be at the showcase because there's like a direct or a presentation directly after the showcase that's all Outer Worlds 2 themed.
Yeah.
That's neat. I haven't played Outer Worlds 1. I say I haven't, but I played like maybe half hour. It's done by Obsidian, the guys that made New Vegas.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, I've heard it's worth checking out. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. There's like a trillion games in my backlog, and that's not exactly on my priority list. But I do want to check it out sometime. And I don't know, maybe the second one will look so cool that it'll incentivize me to play the first one. What else? I thought I wrote something down, but all I wrote down was Elder Scrolls 6.
Like,
Banjo, not happening. Elder Scrolls 6, maybe. New Fallout would be cool. Fallout 4 came out like a decade ago. And since then, we've gotten Fallout 76, which is like mixed reception. Mix is, a generous statement. I think it's better now a little bit. I haven't played it. But I finished Fallout 4. Like I
I
aced
didn't
it.
like Fallout 4.
A lot of people didn't. Well, a lot of people did, but people who played a lot of Fallout 3 and New Vegas didn't really care for 4. I think 4 is the moment Fallout sort of hit, I guess what you would call like the mainstream audience, and a lot of people really resonated with it. But I'd be totally down to see them do Fallout 5 or and they're kind of riding on the coattails of the Amazon. Was it Amazon did a show for Fallout last year? They did like
Yeah.
a mini series,
There was an actual
like an actual
show.
series of.
I didn't think it was gonna be good, but apparently people like it now.
Yeah, it's one of those things I still need to watch, but I've been wanting to see it. I just got to get around to actually doing it. What else? Fallout, Elder Scrolls would be dope. Banjo, haha. Any sort of like Rare, I would just like to see Rare. To me, Rare is more elusive than Retro Studios. You know, like we know.
Are they even making any games?
I think so. Like in 2016, they
so.
announced some like I don't know the name, but it was like they showed like some sizzle reel footage of a game where I think you played like as a deer, or like it was like it was very nature-esque. Like that was like the theme was like nature, like the forest, and I think there was like a deer or something. But
Yeah.
I'm it's vague to me because it was like a decade ago that they showed this thing off. That and they're constantly updating Sea of Thieves. Like Sea of Thieves still gets active updates.
Right. Yeah. I forgot about Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I did too. But every single time there's an Xbox showcase, there's something Sea of Thieves shown off. So maybe we'll get more of that, or maybe we'll actually get information on their new IP, whatever, whether it's the deer one or something brand new, or bringing back a previous IP or something. I just want to see something Rareware. Rare to me is one of those things that, like, I mean, Retro Studios is working on Metroid Prime 4 right now, and prior to Metroid Prime 4, what were they doing? Right? Like Tropical Freeze came out in like 2014, and when they first announced Metroid Prime 4, they announced they were doing it in-house, and then like 3 years after that, they came out and said, we don't know what we're doing with Metroid Prime 4, we're giving it back to Retro, and they've been working on it ever since. So there's this time frame where it's like, what were they doing in between Tropical Freeze and Metroid Prime 4? Nobody knows. Kinda, sorta. There was like this leak that came out this week about oh man, let me look this up real fast because I don't want to paraphrase it, but it is related. Retro Studios leak. So there was a dev build of a Switch game or a Switch console that came out, and there was Retro Studios stuff attached to this dev build, and there's a very primitive, like, leaked footage of a supposedly canceled Retro Studios. I say supposedly because we don't know if it's still in development or if it was confirmed to not be in development anymore. But there's this like fairy looking girl across like this beta map thing, and she's like, she can like summon creatures. She rides on one's back, or like there's like this big bear thing. There's like a floating fish thing. I'll send you the footage here in a sec, but like,
okay.
It's very Cameo-esque. I don't know do you remember Cameo on the Xbox 360? That's a Rareware game.
I'll have to look that up.
She was like a fairy that could transform into monsters. It was an Xbox 360 launch title. And this game kind of has that similar vibe. Well, I say game, but it's literally just like a debug map and like a character model that can transform or summon like creatures. But they were like, so they're doing something. They're not just sitting there in the studio waiting for, orders from above. Kind of want to and derailed there for a sec, but Rareware is kind of I get the same vibes from them. It's like, okay, some of you are working on Sea of Thieves. I get that, but what are you guys doing? What are you doing?
Right.
Where are you? Like, how come no one's heard from you in like a decade? It's weird.
Well, I'm also not very excited about Rareware personally.
I know.
I mean, they're not Rareware anymore.
Well, like, yeah, I mean,
like
the 90s and 2000s staff that was there is, mostly departed now.
Yeah, Microsoft spent like $400 million on them, and then all the good developers left. So
all the good that's not nice. There's still people over there with talent. Sea of Thieves is cool.
Okay, all of the OG developers left.
What you mean to say is all of the high profile developers. You know, you got your people, guys who work at Rareware. All I know is Grant Kirkhope, but he's not a programmer; he's a composer. Anyway, Xbox Showcase June 8th. I don't have a lot of expectations just because I know like you're gonna get your run of the mill. You're gonna get your Gears. You're gonna get your Forza. You're gonna get your Call of Duty. You're gonna get probably Sea of Thieves. Definitely Outer Worlds 2. Maybe some Starfield updates or DLC or something. I don't know. But I'd be excited to see Elder Scrolls stuff, and I'd be excited to see Fallout stuff. Other than that, I don't have a ton of expectations. They did say that it was a mix of third and first party, so we might get some unexpected like third party stuff. I know at some point, I don't have a year, but like there was a time where it showed one of their showcases, maybe in like 2021 or 2022, showed Silk Song, like Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get more information on that. I think it's don't quote me on this, but I think it's a Switch exclusive for a console, I think, or like a timed exclusive, kind of like Hades 2 is a timed console exclusive. Yeah, I think so, but I might be wrong on that. I'll in post I'll make, I'll show a statement or something whether or not I was right or wrong. But that's all I got for the showcase, and I think that's gonna wrap it up unless you had any final statements or thoughts.
I think that's it. We can save more content for a different video, but I didn't want to go on another Nintendo rant again because
we'll have plenty more of those in the future, crazy. I'm sure.
The stuff's crazy right now, but
yeah,
like I mean,
episode
that's all 45. I really got.
Yeah,
episode 45. But yeah, for now, we got the Xbox showcase coming up, the PlayStation hike, the Mario Kart World,
Banjo-Kazooie,
really, we'll
Toys for Bob. It's happening. You heard it here first.
For Bob. Banjo-Kazooie Toys for Bob.
Guaranteed happening. Guaranteed.
If they, and it has to be this one, I will figure out a way to do this. If they announce, actually no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not doing that.
He's backing out already.
No, I was going to say I'd actually put on clown makeup. If they did.
You should. That'd be funny.
I'm not doing that.
All right. Anyway, that's going to do it here for episode 2. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider hitting the like and subscribe button. That'd be really cool. That'd be so cool. And I would smile.
Or if you hated it, leave a comment anyway.
Yeah, Tell
us why.
Tell us why everything we said is wrong. And so we can...
That's right.
I'll like the comment. I'll reply to it and tell you that you're based for thinking that, I guess.
Exactly.
Right on. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.